I think one of the challenges when people think of housing issues is they think of the person sleeping under the bridge, or they think of the person who's given up. And I think one of the keys is going to be to remind people that this isn't about us continually giving to them and them just receiving. That these are people made in the image of God who have themselves to offer.
Community of Hope is a program to serve single moms and their kids that are homeless. One of the things that we want to do in the Community of Hope is to recognize the strengths that the families have when they come into the program. They're not hopeless or helpless people. They come with a lot of strength that has enabled them to manage to get to the place that they are. So we're not going to do for them what they can do already, and we want to recognize the gifts and help them recognize and develop the gifts that they already have.
First of all, as far as we know, there's no transitional housing program in North Portland.
Not overnight shelters, not transitional housing, not long-term low income, nothing along those lines. So it became very obvious to the Church of North Portland that this was a significant need. There are people in the congregations of the churches in this area that need housing assistance.
The felt need within just our own small congregation, you're talking maybe 150 people, and yet there's always 2 or 3 that are on the bubble. One guy right now is sleeping in his truck, He just keeps telling me he's okay, but that to me is not okay.
So there was a group of 6 churches that got together initially to talk and pray and think about what part of the housing spectrum did we want to address first, knowing that we couldn't tackle it all at once. So what makes the most sense initially? And through conversation and through prayer, settled on transitional housing. So initially not something just that would house somebody overnight and then send them back out on the street, but instead would bring them into a place where resources and affirmation and encouragement could be applied to their lives, where they could be taught skills, where they could learn how to put their lives back together in a way that would be sustainable for them long term.
The way that Community of Hope is set up is that the families will be staying at Red Sea Church at night. They can be there from 8 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning. And then in the after school time, they can gather and we'll have classes, and then they'll get to eat dinner together. So the classes will only be 2 or 3 times a week. Some of them will be optional, some of them not. We'll have childcare during those classes. I will also be mentoring them. We're calling it care mentoring instead of case managing. It will give them some kind of accountability and just some special encouragement. And then they'll get to spend the beginning of the evening together and then to move to Red Sea for the night. During the daytime hours, they will either be working or looking for a job. So we will not be open during the day.
I literally fell apart for a few months and did a lot of crying, and because I couldn't figure out how did I go from the governor's mansion back in Arkansas to being literally homeless thousands of miles away.
They looked up to me like, you're supposed to have our food, you're supposed to have our place. My oldest daughter even told me at one time, like, you were supposed to have everything set up, it's your time to be an adult, what are you doing? And that was a hard one to swallow down.
I know what it's like to be a single mom. I know what it's like to not have enough money. I know what it's like to feel robbed over and over again. And it's been tough. It's been really tough.
Since being in the shelter, it's nice to know that my kids are safe. They have a roof over their head. There's a staff that really loves my kids. They are really active with my kids here. Grandpa Dan plays tag. I mean, it's really active. You feel really loved. I don't even know how to explain it. It's an overwhelming feeling, and then you get to relax when you're here. And it's like being amongst the green pastures, if that makes sense. And you can just breathe. And then you can regroup and refine yourself, because that's what I've had to do, like a whole entire 360, easily.
Without the encouragement that I felt, I just thought I am going to completely, lose it. And so I think that being homeless, you just feel so desperate and you feel so alone and you don't know maybe exactly what someone has been through. But I assure you, I have so much respect for the people that are here that actually have the resources to want to help.
There are a number of ways that we're looking for people to be partners with the Community of Hope. There are the ones that you might automatically think of. Financial support would be critical for both the opening and the ongoing operation of the facility. Volunteers, people to be community partners, either for individual families going through the program or for the program in general, possibly teaching classes, being an overnight volunteer, cooking meals, childcare, lots of different ways that volunteers are needed. Prayer support is going to be critical. This isn't an effort where we just write a book and follow step 1, step 2, step 3 and everything's great. These are people, these are families. They need relationship, they need support. And so the staff and the volunteers working with them also need that kind of support. And then there are other ways that we're looking for individuals, families, churches, organizations to be larger partners. We'd love to get to the point where a church or an organization or a family sponsors a family. So there are lots of different ways. We're open to other suggestions too. So if other people have ideas, we'd love to have conversation and figure out if this is an area where your heart is, where your passion is, then talk to us and let's find out how your passion can meet a need, and those two come together.